Ladies, I am here tonight on the show. And tonight, what the hell is this stupid chair, man? Tonight, so we got some sports news today. So mostly going to focus on the NFL, maybe a little bit of NBA. Here later, but mostly NFL right now. The one thing it was reported, I forgot what report it was, but he pretty much said he was in the Patriots organization or in the franchise, and he was saying that is it possible that Bill Belichick is making the Patriots bad on purpose? He's still mad about having to trade Jimmy Garoppolo because Tom Brady got mad and he told the owner, Robert Kraft, that he wanted Jimmy Garoppolo out of the franchise. And Robert Kraft forcing Bill Belichick to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. That was Jimmy Garoppolo's. That was Bill Belichick's his new guy, right? That he was supposed to be the future once Tom Brady left. And because Brady felt, he wanted to stay in New England for a few more years to retire there. He felt that take Jimmy Garoppolo out of here because he's just making him feel uncomfortable. And so Robert Kraft forced him to trade him. Remember he was supposed to get. They thought he was going to get like a first round pick. He only got like a second round pick. He kind of gave it away to Kyle Shanahan, who he's really good friends with the father, Mike Shanahan. So he kind of gave him a gift. No, Jimmy Garoppolo, we know he didn't turn out as good as we thought, but that was Belichick's guy to be the future of New England once Tom Brady hung it up. And, even if it's, forcing Tom Brady to leave, like he eventually ended up leaving in 2020. And he wanted Jimmy Garoppolo to be the guy. And a lot of people are saying that ever since that moment, Bill Belichick has just been, that's why no longer getting really any good players, whether it's free agency or the draft. They're saying that, is it possible he's just messing everything up on purpose because he's so mad at Robert Kraft for forcing him to trade Jimmy Garoppolo, doing terrible with free agency. It was said that Sean McVay said, I was looking at that guy for like in the later rounds, like in the third, somewhere in the third, fifth round, and Belichick ended up drafting that player in the first round. So they were saying like, what the hell are you doing? This is like a mid-round selection. I mean, mid-draft selection. You chose him in the first round. The coaching hirings, hiring freaking what's his face, Matt Patricia and Joe Judge to be his offensive coordinator. They never been offensive coordinator. One was a defensive coordinator and Matt Patricia. The other one was a special teams coach. And supposedly that like halfway through in the summer, going into like August, they still didn't completely know what the offense was, especially the players. Mac Jones, like, what the hell's our offense? He still they didn't know exactly what the offense was. They said Joe Judge would just yell at players for no reason, just to try to feel like he was strict. Kind of the same stuff that went on with the New York Giants when he was there, and that Mac Jones never really liked Joe Judge. Matt Patricia, obviously, they didn't have no clue either. But they're saying, now recently they, like a few days ago, they went out and hired Bill O'Brien, right, to be their offensive coordinator. So that's a good sign going forward. But a lot of people do believe that the reason, Bill Belichick, right, was considered a genius. Most people consider him the greatest coach in NFL history. And now all of a sudden can't draft good players, can't sign good free agents, can't even figure out how to get an offensive coordinator. You're telling me this guy really believed that a defensive coordinator and Matt Patricia, who failed miserably as a head coach, all of a sudden was going to be able to call the offense? Man, so something a lot of people are saying, is it possible he's just doing this on purpose to mess with New England, mess with Robert Kraft, and completely retire in a few years and leave this a complete shithole for the Patriots? But again, there's a good positive sign. He signed a legit offensive coordinator now, and Bill O'Brien, who was with him, I believe, in what it was like 2011 when they went to that Super Bowl. I think it was the second one they faced the Giants, and then he went to be a head coach at Penn State, then with the Houston Texans. Recently, offensive coordinator with the Alabama. So he's legit. So that's a good sign going forward. But something to keep an eye on. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I think there's other stuff going around the league. The Panthers hiring their head coach, former Indianapolis Colts, Frank Reich, will be their new coach. Frank Reich actually was the first ever quarterback with the Carolina Panthers back in 1995. So that's kind of weird. I think his daughter actually works for the Panthers. I'm not sure exactly what she does, but I think she works there. His brother actually coaches in Carolina. He's been there for over 20 years coaching. I think it's high school football or college football. So a lot of ties Frank Reich has to the city of Carolina and the Carolina Panthers, being that he was their first ever quarterback back in 1995. So Frank Reich is officially the new head coach in Carolina Panthers. And the other news was today that Nathaniel Hackett got hired to the offensive coordinator of the New York Jets. I'm not sure if the Jets are going backwards or forward, because I thought that other kid, LaFleur, the brother of Packers head coach Matt LaFleur was the offensive coordinator there. I thought he was a better option. Nathaniel Hackett. People are still going back to Nathaniel Hackett when, like, in 2017, when he helped Jacksonville Jaguars and Blake Bortles make it all the way to the AFC Championship game. People are still hanging on to that, it seems like. They're like, well, he sucked with the Broncos. With the Green Bay, he wasn't really doing anything. It was all Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur. But they're like, well, what about 2017, what he did with Blake Bortles and the Jaguars? So people still seem to be hanging out for that for Nathaniel Hackett. But I don't know, man. I don't know if that was a good hire in Nathaniel Hackett, man. A lot of people thought Nathaniel Hackett was going to maybe get out of the league or just go back to the Packers, because supposedly he had a great friendship with Aaron Rodgers, in a way to continue to keep Rodgers not only in Green Bay, but also happy that he was going to go back to the Packers. People are really shocked that he not only did he find another job right away, but also as fast as he did as offensive coordinator with the Jets. But if he struggled with freaking Russell Wilson, what's going to happen with freaking Mac White and freaking Zach Wilson? Jesus Christ, man. Again, I don't know if the Jets, is that a good move or a bad move? I think it was a bad move. But anyways, let's see if there's any more news. The Cowboys did make a lot of so Dan Quinn, the Cowboys made a lot of firings today with their coaches, but they did announce that obviously Mike McCarthy's back as head coach, and Dan Quinn is also back. He interviewed for a few jobs, I think the Broncos and the Cardinals, but he has decided to stay as a defensive coordinator with the Cowboys. Let's see here. The Cowboys fire offensive line coach Joe Philbin, running backs coach Skip Peete, and defensive assistant George Edwards have all been fired. Assistant coach Rob Davis has also been fired. Quality control coach Kyle Varlo has also been fired, and defensive line coach Leon Lett all been fired today from the Cowboys. And as of right now, they asked Mike McCarthy about what's his face, Kellen Moore as offensive coordinator, and he didn't really give an answer. So Kellen Moore could potentially go from interviewing to be a head coach to potentially getting fired as offensive coordinator in Dallas. Jesus Christ, man. Apparently, there's some talks that the Dallas Cowboys might be ready to move on from Kellen Moore as offensive coordinator. So we'll see what happens, man. But I think that's about it for the news. The Bills fire their safety coach, Jim Segura. But I think that's about it. Oh, by the way, here it is. Frank Reich's daughter works with the Carolina Panthers marketing department. Okay, that's kind of cool. All right. But I think that's it for the NFL. I mean, let's maybe some basketball. I mean, like we had the freaking The freaking Knicks upsetting the Celtics. Jesus Christ, the 7th seed, the freaking Knicks upsetting the Celtics, man. 121-17. Jesus Christ, man. Freaking Jalen Bronson made them wait 29 points. Julius Randle 37. RJ Barrett 19. Emmanuel Quickly 17. Nice upset right there for the freaking New York Knicks, man. Freaking pendejo face for Jalen Brown missing free throws at the end. Jason Tatum finished with 35 points, 14 rebounds. Jalen Brown 22 points. Derek White 15 points. Malcolm Brogdon 10 points. That was really the problem. That outside of maybe Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon, the supporting cast was terrible for the Celtics tonight, man. That also at the end, man. Freaking Jalen Brown missing those free throws, man. That was flat out horrendous, man. But that was a good game, man. 120-117. New York upset Celtics. And then, man, the Mavericks, without Luka Doncic, at 3 minutes into the game with a sprained ankle, they pull out the upset, 99-95 versus the Mavericks, man. Huge ass game by Spencer Dinwiddie, 36 points, man. Freaking Reggie Bullock, 10 points. Dwight Powell, 15. Denny Finney-Smith, 18 points. Tim Hardaway, 11 points. The crazy-ass performance by Spencer Dinwiddie, picking up his team with those 36 points, man. And then for the Phoenix Suns, no Devin Booker. Cameron Johnson, 22 points. DeAndre Ayton, 19 and 20. He went off. Mikal Bridges, 16 points. Chris Paul, 22 points. But, man, kind of an embarrassing loss by the Phoenix Suns. Even though they didn't have Devin Booker, man, the Mavericks are so Luka Doncic dependent. The fact that they still won a game, like I said, got 3 minutes into the game, got hurt. The fact they still pull it out, great win by the Mavericks. Great game by Spencer Dinwiddie. And guys, we've seen some nice games lately. Last night, we saw the freaking the Warriors and the Grizzlies, the Sixers and the Nets. Tonight we saw the freaking Mavericks and Suns, the Celtics and the Knicks. Lately, a lot of good basketball, man, in the National Basketball Association, ladies and gentlemen. But until next time, that is all I have to say. Until next time, holla!